Ready to learn how to make the best gaming video that's gonna rot away Generation Alpha even quicker? And the best part is I'll show you how to do it in 7 simple steps that's gonna please your extra chromie. Let's get into the mental deterioration. I'm gonna show you the more hidden, sophisticated way to do this that all the big YouTubers keep to themselves that I have a deep affection for, and I don't have a fetish of any sorts. Anyways, all you want to do is drag your footage on the timeline, which is this more plus size box because I need to keep it body positive. And what the big YouTubers do is cut up their footage using the big C, which is the cutting tool. So click on the big C and equip the sharp cutting tool. And now you can cut your footage. And if you want to go back to the mouse pointer, click V, and then just cut out all the parts that are not funny, you're not talking, or bring no value to the story of your video. And once you're done with that little torment, ask your friend who is not in your head to react to it, because I know you're probably a schizo. And whenever you see your friend reaching for their phone or looking away from the screen, shoot them. Shoot them in the kneecap. Don't show any mercy, because no one disrespects your videos. And then of course remove that part or rework that part that they weren't paying attention to, because we need to boost that viewer retention. Another thing you can do to help add with the viewer retention is adding B-roll to your clips. Like with Minecraft, you could use the replay mod, or with Call of Duty, you could just use the theater mode. For an example, in Call of Duty, you're talking about your plan for the war zone, and you fly through the map while explaining. So like, let's say we're gonna hop into the downtown and we're gonna be the kingpin of downtown. You could show B-roll of you flying around downtown and killing people. So to make an intro that physically hooks your viewer by one of their fatty appendages is difficult if I'm being honest, but I'll show you an easy way to do it. Wink emoticon. So Mr. Beast said to prove/re-show your thumbnail in the first 5 seconds. So this thumbnail is about how Steve likes cave miners. So I would start this video talking about how Steve is a pedophile, quotation marks, and have the same format as the thumbnail. So Steve would be on the left, and I would have a tweet pop up on the right and then cover Steve. And then I'll just go on a rant about how Steve is a pedophile. The next thing I read on 4chan to make a better intro is to start the video in the first 20 seconds, because you can't leave the viewer waiting. You need to hit him right in the face with your sweaty content. Basically, the first 20 seconds should be you confirming the thumbnail so your viewers don't feel clickbaited, and the quicker your intro is, the better. And the final thing is, don't listen to all these Redditors saying, "Don't spend 4 days making your intro and there isn't a man from the woods." And I tell them, yes there is, and he always tries to get into the house at night. Also, lock the heck in on your intros to make sure you really hook the viewer by their strangely large pinky finger that wiggles around oozing pus.
Someone's following me, chat. OMG.
Why are you running away from me?
Balancing music in videos is like being a horrendously deformed child that when people look at you, they're visibly repulsed. People in school call you a freak, and there's that one kid who calls you a zoo animal, and he always shows you a video of a bald Yukari and says, "Is this your mom and dad?" Which is not racist. So this is exactly, and I mean exactly, like music mixing. You need to know exactly what you're doing. I've seen countless videos where the music is so loud you can't even hear what the person's saying, or the music doesn't match what's going on. Like a funny goofy music while somebody's on a live leak. So to find the music that matches what's going on, you can either go on YouTube and find a song from a game you like. Most games have copyright-free music, but they're still legally allowed to copyright you and take all the money you've ever made from that video. Another thing you can do is use really old music that's in the public domain. Like most of Mozart's or Beethoven's music is in public domain, for now at least. You can also go on a website that gives music for free. They can either be paid websites like Artlist or Licked, or you can use a free website like Toontank. I personally use Toontank. Please sponsor me. So to combat the overly loud music, you're gonna see this bar on the side of your timeline. If you don't see it, you got a serious problem. So I want you to take a mental jot note of how loud your voice is. Then I want you to mute your voice by clicking this button right here, and then add your music and make sure it's 5 to 10 decibels. This is editing me. I got that wrong. You should aim for 15 to 25 under your voice because 5 is very loud. There we go. And before you start frothing from the mouth, remember that music is very important. Do not place it where it's not needed. And you probably know where to place it because you've consumed enough brainless media to know where a song fits and doesn't. Now that you kind of have the framework of your video, we can move on to less psychotic torment. So I'm going to show you the big 3 of visual effects YouTube gamers use. The first one is context PNGs. This is the most basic one out of the big 3, and it's the most commonly used in videos. So for an example, in a Minecraft video, somebody says, we need to create a base. And while they say that, there would be a picture / context PNG that would slide up. Since I'm using the base example, I'm going to take a picture of a Minecraft house, and then I'm going to remove the background of the Minecraft house. And then I'm going to drag the picture onto the timeline, and then I'm going to move it to the middle of the screen using these position things. Then we're going to need to make a transition for this picture. So go into Effects, search bar, search up Transform, drag the transform effect onto the picture, then click on the picture, go into Effects Controls, and scroll down until you see Position in Transform tab. Click on your right arrow key 10 times, and then click on the stopwatch to create a keyframe. This is basically telling the computer, save the position of where the house is on the screen right now, then drag the blue thing to the front of the box. And now you're going to click this position variable, and then you're just going to drag it until the picture is off the screen on the bottom side. Basically what we did is created a sliding up animation, so the picture is off the screen when it starts the animation, and then it goes to the middle of the screen once it hits the second keyframe. Now you're going to duplicate the second keyframe we made by clicking Ctrl C and then Ctrl V, and then place it wherever you want the picture to start sliding down. And then you're going to go 10 frames past the third keyframe, and you're going to duplicate the first keyframe and place it where your current blue thing is. And that's the basic animation. And I know that might have been a little stressful, but you did it, so be very proud of yourself. Now we can add velocity by clicking this little arrow icon and just drag these things to look like that, and you're basically done. If you want to add motion blur, you just turn the shutter angle to 360. That's why we're using the transform effect. So the effect should look something like this.
We need to make a base, guys.
I agree with him, guys.
Next up is green screens. This is pretty self-explanatory. Just go on YouTube, find a green screen, then go into effect search thing, and then search up key, drag Alt key, click the eyedropper, boom, it's gone. Green screen's gone. Transitions are pretty hard to do, but once you figure out the trick, they boost your video aesthetics like crazy. So honestly, the only thing you need to keep in mind is to keep your motion continuing onto the next scene. I know that probably made no sense, but let me give you an example.
What do you think about minorities?
Now that you have your visual effects, we can head on to the lobotomizing subtitles. I'm not going to show you how to actually do this effect because I have like 15 videos on how to do it. I'm just going to give you the principles of how to do it. And I also have a subtitle preset pack. So the first principle is, if you want the viewer to actually read your subtitles, place it into the middle of the screen, not the left corner, not the bottom middle thing. I don't know why people do that. Place it in the middle of the screen if you want people to be focused on it and reading it. Number 3, you don't have to put animations on your subtitles all the time. Sometimes it's better to just have text appear and then disappear. The final thing is, you don't have to subtitle the entire video. I know that's pretty self-explanatory, but a lot of gaming YouTubers, especially small ones, subtitle the entire thing, wasting 5 hours that's going to barely boost retention. Let me ask you a question. Why do we do sound effects last? Is it A, I hate my life and my entire existence? Is it B, to save time? Or is it C, because I want to? You are correct. It's actually D, because we already have all our effects done. Now that you have all your effects, animations, green screens, all of that cancer, you can go through your video and add sound effects. And if you need sound effects, you can join my Discord server. It has a channel full of sound effects that you can look through, and you might find some stuff that you like. Or just go on YouTube like a normal person. So when you're adding sound effects, go crazy. Add sound effects for almost every effect that you see, but make sure it's not louder than your voice, because that's going to make the viewer literally like pull out a 1911 and then pop to their head. Chill out, YouTube. So you probably think I'm going to go over another effect, and how wrong you are. You're actually going to have to watch your entire video, and you can click L to speed it up, don't worry, and watch your entire schizophrenic outbreak and see the parts that you personally lose interest in, and remove that part. Like, just delete it, get it off. And if the video feels better without it, keep it out. If it feels a little without it, add it back in. And if you want to watch a video on how to make subtitles like I was talking about earlier, watch this video. It needs more views.